Let's see the solution to the homework I gave you in the previous video. So remember from our previous video, when we enter, let's say nothing, and hit enter or click the add item button, an empty item shows up. So I can add whatever, and if I hit enter, another empty item shows up. We do not want that behavior. We want the behavior that if this text field is empty, then we do not want to add any item. So here's the solution for that. So if you look at our code, we always want to see when things are happening. So we want to figure out if the text is there or not when the add click button is clicked or the event for submission happens. So that's over here. This is the callback function that gets run on the submit event. We do the prevent default, so we want that on every time a submission happens. We do not want the page refresh. But then over here, we are creating a new item. We don't want that. We do not want to create a new item when this particular value is falsy or empty, right? So we don't want that. So what can we do? We can write an if statement. We think about what are the different constructs that we have learned so far in JavaScript, right? We have functions, we have if statements, we have switch statements, we have loops. But in this case, we want to add a condition. On a certain condition, do something. On a different condition, do something else. So over here, we want to add a condition that if this particular value, item to add dot value, is falsy, right? If it's falsy, then don't do anything. But if it's true, then only run this code. So I'm going to move this particular code of adding an item inside the if statement. So only if there is a value there, we have learned about falsy and truthy values, that if certain values are blank or 0 or false, they're considered falsy. But if there is some text, that's considered truthy value. So if there is some value there, then it's going to run this code. All right. But reading a little bit ahead, we also do not want to append this new element, right? If it's empty, we don't want to do that. We also don't want to clear any of the items. We also don't want to do autofocus. So all of this code actually goes inside the if statement. So that's the solution actually. So let's test it if this works. I'm going to refresh, so our app refreshes and the latest code is running. I'm going to enter some text, hit enter, yes, it's there. Now, if I hit enter, nothing happens. If I click, nothing happens. So this is running, this event handler is running, but it stops over here on line number 22. It doesn't run this block. With that, I want to give you one additional homework. So if you go to Google and simply type in Introduction to Events Mozilla, just like this, so like this, and Mozilla, you will find the first URL to the documentation that tells you about events. We have already learned about events, but what you want to do is digest your knowledge as deep as possible. And the way to do that is to understand the concepts I'm explaining to you in the videos, do them, then also read other authentic resources so you get the knowledge from different angles and the information is ingested in your mind on a much more deeper level. So it's a very good explanation of events. So read this and I'm going to talk to you in the next lesson.